Hi, I'm Brett Middleton, and this is an opportunity to explain to you some of the servicing requirements of your Subaru. And in this particular case, it's an 07 Liberty GT, which is the 2.5 turbo engine, and this is the limited edition model, or called the Tuned by STI model. And what I'm just going to show you quickly in the next 5 minutes is some of the vital components that you need to be aware of when you're looking after your Subaru, or you may have another model car but you'll use this as a bit of a guide. One of the really good things that Subaru are really well known for is making things very obvious of what you need to check, and you'll notice in the engine bay there's a lot of yellow things. So what I'll show you first is the brake fluid cap. Obviously, again, another yellow one, but just what is difficult is you can't see is down underneath here is the clutch fluid reservoir, and right down underneath is the dipstick for the 6-speed transmission. So of course, checking the brake fluid is obviously a visual thing, but the yellow cap gives you access to top it up. Remember, make sure you top it up with the same brake fluid as what you've already got in there. The yellow one here is for the power steering fluid. Again, it's another filler cap. Now, in this situation, this is the radiator cap, but you don't need to genuinely check that. What you would normally do is come around the front of the car and check the coolant overflow bottle, which is obviously where the water expands and contracts out of the engine when it heats up and cools down. And then also what you'll see here on this one is the windscreen washer additive. Goes into a container. The good thing about Subaru is they give you this really simple way to see how much fluid is in there, obviously being water, unless you want to put a little bit of detergent in there to aid in the cleaning of your windscreen. Obviously the dipstick. Now, one thing I want to point out on the dipstick with most modern day cars is on the Subarus, you've got a high point dot and a low point dot. And I'll just get a rag. And you'll see, if you can see in the camera, there's a low dot here and a high dot here, but also you notice there's a notch. Now, the notch is only when you're doing a dry fill initially from startup, or you're building a brand new engine. Never ever fill it up to that notch. You should only fill a Subaru engine up to that dot or that hole, and it should never go below that dot in a normal service interval. If you're driving the car so hard that it consumes that much oil in a normal service interval, which on a Subaru on this model is about 12,500 kilometers, then something is wrong. But if it's staying in between that, then in the eyes of Subaru, from an engineering point of view, that's within factory tolerance. And remember also, when you're checking the oil, make sure the car is level and you're doing it consistently, either when it's hot or when it's cold, or when it's been sitting for a certain period of time after you've turned the engine off, because obviously that has an effect on the amount of oil that has fallen down into the sump. Of course, you've got your oil filler cap, and one little thing that I'll show you, which is a common secret that is overlooked in a Subaru, is if we can just get close in here, you'll see there's a marking inside there. And that actually, if you look closely, actually corresponds to the built date of your engine. That's a good little tip for working out if you're buying a second-hand Subaru engine and it's still got the original filler cap. You can work out when that engine was manufactured by Subaru. Other than that, obviously you've got the battery, which typically these days you don't have to check, but it's just good to have a look at it every now and then in the different cells, and just have a bit of a peek in there and make sure the fluid level is above the plates or at its minimum fill point. Other than that, everything else is accessible from inside of the car from a maintenance point of view: drive shafts, gearbox oil, diff oil, and so on. So for when you're looking after your Subaru, you need to take the time, because if you look after it properly, it will maintain your service requirements to meet your factory warranty, and also obviously give you long, reliable performance, and obviously have a big effect on long-term reliability and maintenance and value of the car in the future. That's it for about now. For more technical information, you can refer our website at mrtperformance.com.au, and keep your eye on the videos. We're constantly working hard to update these videos as quickly as we can. I'm Brett Middleton. Thanks for watching.